So before we get into the questions, I always ask, and I think it's really important, how are you getting on? Just how has life been treating you in the past couple of weeks?
Yeah, it's been really good. We're in the thick of the siren season, so it's been awesome to get back in front of fans. Obviously, it's been a long time with COVID, so it's been over 2 years since we played at home. So yeah, it's been really, really good. Like just getting out on court and it's starting to build up to come games. So the last couple of weeks have been good.
Nice. What's it like with the build? What was it like when you actually got that game back? I'm completely the list of questions. I'm just gonna flip the page. The questions are gone. We're just gonna ring it. That's how every podcast I've ever done. You just go, here's a list of questions, and about 3 sentences in, you just rip it out and just throw it away. What was
Yeah.
that? What was that first game like when you got the fans back and you actually got to hear? When you do the runouts and the team gets announced, you actually get to hear the roar and people clap and cheer. How's that feel?
Yeah, it was a big game for us. We actually played an international against Barbados in November,
Mm-hmm.
and it was very touch and go. Initially we were playing Malawi, and then kind of COVID restrictions kind of put a stop to that, and then Barbados were keen, but you're always on edge because anything can happen at any point in the world at the moment. So when that did happen and we played in front of a full crowd at Emirates Arena, it was just unbelievable because it was my first game back as a mum. We were under a new coach. I still walked out as captain as a country, and yeah, we had a packed out crowd, and we really put in a performance that we were proud of. It was a young group, a new group as well. We've got new players in the squad, so yeah, it was awesome, to be honest. Like it's been a long time. It has been since we hadn't played in a Scotland dress since the World Cup 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So
I can imagine that, and then as you said, with all the extra stipulations of you returning as a mum, captain, and it must have been absolutely. I reckon it must have felt like that was about 3 times the size of what it normally was. The crowd there.
yeah, it was like doing my first cap all over again. So
Did
yeah,
you did
it
you
was
feel it a bit in the stomach and in the knees? Was it you were like, oh, I'm actually quite nervous for this one?
Yeah, well, it's kind of putting you out there, and it's the first real test, and you don't really know. Like my body's still kind of adapting since birth, and you don't really know how you're going to perform. It's we didn't have the siren season or anything like that leading into it, so it was a bit of an unknown. But no, we put out good performances, so it was a big kind of tick box, and it secured our Commonwealth Games qualification.
I was going to say, I remember watching it, and I remember because I did, proper podcast of doing his research, watch the highlights again to make sure I was watching the right game. But no, I remember watching it, and you wouldn't have known that you guys were sort of praying you got a game and trying to get some get the miles in the legs again. You were all pretty composed, so you hid
Yeah.
the nerves well if there were nerves. So
Yeah, I
don't
feel
worry.
sorry for our background staff because they had so many logistics to try and just kind of work their way through to get the game up and running. But yeah, touch wood, COVID stayed away and the games could go ahead. Commonwealth Games this year
Commonwealth
and
this
then
year.
World Cups the following year. So two big years coming up.
That's a pretty hectic schedule. At least in most other sports, you at least get a sort of summer off. You guys just now we're just churning through them.
Nah, it's full on netball. You don't get much of a break.
Trust me, I talking a complete side that I remember at school, and we as the rugby team always used to fear the women's netball's coach because the stories that came out of that, it was terrifying.
I think I know
We,
what coach you're talking about. I can imagine.
I can imagine. No, I'm thinking there was two. There was a dance coach in Peebles that was notoriously not brutal as well because it makes it sound like they abused children, which they didn't do. They were very rigorous with their training, but
Yeah.
they churned out a lot more international stars than the rugby team has. So I think if there was one coach we should probably copy, it was probably her.
See, there you go.
See, we'll get her on and we'll be like, what did you do to these kids that scared the living daylights out of them?
Made them train hard.
It was. I've got another section about this. So netball is classed as a non-contact sport. I remember in PE when we had to play netball and we went against people like our mutual friend Lauren Tate,
Yeah.
all the team like that. I think I was battered from head to toe. Like if I had double PE and it was netball, I was faking injuries from the weekend. I was like, oh, coach, the knee's quite sore from rugby. I might have to sit this one out and stuff like that. Just walking. I'll do the passing drills. That's all I'll do.
Yeah, people are so shocked. I mean, when they come and watch us live, they kind of get taken aback. But if you're actually on court against us, then you really do realize it's pretty ferocious out there. Similar to basketball, I mean, it's classed as a non-contact sport as well, but it really isn't. There's a lot of contesting for the ball, and we train full time, so everyone's kind of athletic and strong, and will go hard for the ball without pulling out.
Mm-hmm. Quick question on that. I have it written down here, and I've just put in block capitals knee pads ? Why do none of you wear knee pads? Because I've watched, I'm a guy with knee injuries, right? I don't play rugby anymore because of knee injury, and every time I see one of you just go smack bang onto the floor, and I'll wince with pain. I think, oh my god, you must be in so much pain right now.
Yeah, we try and stay on our feet as much as we can, but if we are going to hit the floorboards, we try and bounce back up and just knock it off and pretend it didn't happen.
I respect that, but I wouldn't recommend your kneecaps as the source to bounce from. Oh, your physio must be walking around like teeth chattering.
Yeah,
every time he sees one of you, and I just see all these ankles and knees. I would be watching games through my hands as a physio.
Yeah, it's a hardcore sport. And it's just even like the impact on your bones. Never mind if you fall over or you hit the deck, but just the kind of sprinting at full speed, then having to stop.
Yeah.
When you receive the ball and not move, you know, it is demanding on your body for sure.
I know. You must invest a lot in frozen peas. Frozen peas and ice bags.
Yeah, I've had a couple of injuries in my career, so
just the one or two
in the freezer.